Oh. Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. Sarvam paravasham dukkham. To be dependent on others is sorrow. Sarvam atmavasham sukham. To be dependent on oneself is joy. Meaningful Mornings is a workshop, is a culture to shift our dependency from others to oneself. An English word for Atma is center. You will know that you're flowing through this workshop, through this culture, if you feel more centered. In chapter 3, Sri Krishna shares tough love with Prince Arjuna by sharing those who are doing yet not feeling in the same way, that is known as mityachara. They are hypocrites. They're doing one thing, but feeling another thing. This leads to one being ayukta. Ayukta means disintegrated. Now that's hard for us to verbalize or identify with during our day, that I feel disintegrated right now. In a more relative sense, it is the feeling of frustration. If you feel frustrated, it is because the doing and the feeling are not integrated. Yesterday, Shuka was reading a book and he had ripped a page, maybe on purpose, maybe accidentally. And he kept on sharing with Sheila and I, sorry, I didn't rip the page. Sorry, I didn't rip the page. What he was feeling, what he was saying, there was no integration. So we were getting frustrated. And so Shri Krishna offers a path, not paths, plural, but a path, singular. This path begins with karma yoga. The word path is yoga. The first section is karma yoga. And that means shifting from selfish actions to our responsibilities. As one is steady on this singular path, the path of yoga, first section, karma, one's responsibilities have to be engaged in with less expectations. I've also been using the phrase deservership. This part of the path is deeper. Just like with water, you have to be more prepared to go deeper into water You have to be more pure to go deeper into this path from just responsibilities to responsibilities with less expectations. That's chapter 4. One continues on this singular path and it becomes deeper, not just less expectations, but less ego. One has to be purer, more prepared for this portion of the path. That is chapter 5. I regularly pray for myself and for all of you to be steady. Your steadiness will naturally evolve to sincerity. For those of you who don't know me, and I don't know you, but you are steady with meaningful mornings, now this has become part of your day, has become part of you, yes? Your steadiness has evolved to sincerity. And what does sincerity evolve to? Strength. You continue to be sincere, and this will naturally evolve to strength. Inner strength, being centered, being independent. Shri Krishna begins to share how one who's living with less ego, how they live. These are our practices. Verse 3. Neyasya nitya sanyasi yo na dveshti na kankshati nirdvandvo hi mahabaho sukham bandhat pramuchyate. Neyaha, you should know. Know who? Sa, nitya sannyasi. You should know the one who's engaged in karma sannyasa yoga, the one who's following the path of responsibilities with less expectations and particularly less ego. Here the word sannyasi is used. The word sannyasa is made up of 3 parts. Sam means fully. Ni means down. And asa means to throw. Sannyasa is to fully down throw or throw down fully. Throw down fully what? All that is not who we are. We are joy, so to throw down fully all dependency outside of ourselves. Traditionally, the word sannyasa was in reference to rituals. That a sannyasi was one who threw down fully rituals. Why? So they can focus on, invest in that which is meaningful. If you think of this in terms of our Veda, that means they have evolved from the Karma Kanda to the Jnana Kanda. From doing to being. What's most fascinating to me about this traditional orientation towards sannyasa is many of the sannyasis I know, now sannyasa itself has become a ritual. You have to chant this and you have to wear this. And many of the sannyasis I know, they engage in the most rituals and encourage everyone else to do so too. Very fascinating how tradition can be misinterpreted. More specifically, yaha na dveshti na kankshati. A sannyasi is one who does not engage in dveshti, which means aversion, and kangshati, which means attraction. They do not live by dislikes and likes. If you reflect on your likes particularly, I like that which I feel will add to my joy. Correct? That's a true observation. If I feel that coffee, good weather, my sister are going to add to my joy, what is going to happen to my relationship with coffee, good weather, my sister? I'll become dependent on them. And I just shared sarvam paravasham dukkham. To be dependent on any entity other than Atma will only create sorrow. And if you reflect on this one step even more deeply, we only depend on that which we feel is real. I had a lovely dream last night that I was playing soccer. Right now, Ontario is in lockdown, so our soccer league is canceled. But when I woke up, I didn't stay in bed and keep playing soccer in my mind. My dream is very volatile, very relatively real, so I don't depend on it. So any entity you have likes and dislikes towards, you're also giving a strong reality to. That's specific. Shri Krishna zooms out. Nirdvandvo hi mahabaho. Prince Arjuna, you are strong. This is why I use the word with you, from steadiness to sincerity to strength. That's exactly what happened to Prince Arjuna. He never left Sri Krishna, correct? Even though he wanted to, he never did. Then he became a disciple, and Sri Krishna keeps reminding him, you are the strongest. Nirdvandvo. One does not live by duality or dvaita. Another meaning of the word sannyasa is knowing what you are not. Knowing what you are not. And if you know what you're not, that's a catalyst to knowing who you are. You are not your experiences. If you're not your experiences, that also means you are not your equipment. That also means you are not the ego. What is duality? It is ego. The ego separates. Then what does the ego do? I start to feel I'm an equipment. This is my mind. I am the body. And then I go about living for experiences that I like and I dislike. But for the one who is practicing Dharma Sannyasa Yoga, they know that they're not this. And so a practice I've shared with all of you in Meaningful Mornings and different classes is label less. Those labels are associated with experiences. If you label less, what will also decrease? Your likes. Those likes are associated with equipments, particularly the mind. My hand doesn't like pens and pencils. It's my mind that likes pens and pencils, whatever the difference may be. Less labeling causes less likes, which causes less limits. That's associated with the ego. The source of limits in our lives is ego. If one practices having less likes, one will grow out of duality. Then what will they experience? Fourth quarter, Sukham bandhat pramuchyate. This bandhat, this sense of incompleteness, pramuchyate, will be emphatically freed. So all that one will experience then is Sukham, independent joy. Sarvam Atmavasham Sukham. You're depending on the one facet of life that is ever with you, is ever you, that is your spirit. One final reflective thought. Throughout Bhagavad Gita and really Sanatana Dharma, there is such a consistent message of living by prasada. Prasada means accepting all of the fruits in your life. Deeper than that, a message of dharma. Accept your responsibilities. Deeper than that, sharana. Accept that the ego is not real. So don't depend on it. Sannyasa. Throw it down fully. Know you are not the ego. Bhagavad Gita, Sanatana Dharma is most steady in such messaging. We'll reflect more from inspiration to application. A recent application of yours was to feel you're sitting in the body as a driver. And I got to read Gita from Portland's Reflection. She shared she felt like she was a Power Ranger. You know, all those shows and movies where you're sitting in this awesome robot like Voltron and Power Rangers? That's a great way to reflect on who we are in relation to our body. Your application yesterday was to use no negative labels towards any article, being, and circumstance. Do you think I randomly come up with these applications? When you think negative, all that you're about to do becomes heavier. And when an entity is too heavy, it becomes overwhelming. How many of you have felt a sense of being overwhelmed this year? Just in the past 3 weeks. I'm quite confident it is because of that negativity. Saloniji from Cleveland shared, this negativity is an energy drain. So less labels, less likes, less limits. Your application for this morning, whenever you have to make a decision, particularly light decisions, just flip a coin. Should I have oatmeal or cereal? Flip a coin. Okay? Should I go left or right? Not while you're driving. Plan it in advance. Flip a coin. So I want you to practice that, to give likes and dislikes the reality they are. They're just a flip of a coin. Shanti, shanti, shantihi. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be happiness.